guys, how y'all doing? So you want to switch to Linux. You don't know what starts with. There's a lot of Linux distributions out there. What the hell would you do? You're confused. Well, I was in the same place as you, just like 3 months ago. I didn't know what to start with, and I basically was distro hopping most of the time, until I found out the one for me, which was Arch Linux. But hey, chill. I'm not one of these people. Relax. I know there is some nerds out there recommending Arch Linux as your first distribution. Don't listen to those. They're crazy, okay? They're nerds. They were born with the ability to use Arch Linux. But you weren't. You're a beginner and you might not be able to use that thing. I will recommend Linux Mint. Why though? I will tell you why in a second. Just stick to that video and it will tell you everything. But I'm even going to install Linux Mint today in front of you to just show you how easy it is to deal with. Well, the first thing you gotta do is type Linux Mint in your search bar. This is how to spell it. This is how to type it, just in case you weren't aware how to do that. Okay? Good. Moving to the next step. You're gonna see that link, click on it. Then click on download. All of this, you see all of this, you don't have to read any of that. You don't need none of that. If you see all of this, doesn't matter. Just come over here, click on download. Once you click on download, you will have 3 options. The first option is the Cinnamon Edition, XFCE, and Matte Edition. You don't have to install 3 of those because they're all the same thing. The only difference is the desktop environment. What a desktop environment is? You don't know what that means? Well, the desktop environment is the thing you deal with most of the time. It's your desktop. That's why we call it the desktop environment, basically. You see that one? That's the Cinnamon one, okay? If I click over here and select the XFCE, the start menu is different. A lot of stuff are different. Well, that's the desktop environment. But for you, I will recommend the Cinnamon if you want something really similar to Windows. But if you want something really simple and lightweight, I will tell you go with the XFCE. Matte, not really. Me, myself, I don't really use Matte. It's either XFCE or Cinnamon. Both of those are good. If you want to go with the Matte one, that's fine. The same experience, basically. Click on download, and in here, you'll have a couple links. Choose the closest country to you and start downloading it. For example, I will go with Denmark, and just like that, it's going to start downloading. Doesn't matter, close that thing. So in here, we got VMware Workstation. For me, I'm installing this on a virtual machine. But for you, you can of course install this on your actual hardware and not a virtual machine. The process is the same. The only thing you have to do is burn the ISO on a USB using Rufus or Balena Etcher. If you know what Rufus is, that's the tool we'll be using. For example, if we want to install Windows, Linux, whatever operating system you want to install, use Rufus to burn that shit on a USB. Then you plug that thing to your laptop or desktop and boot into the USB, and that's what you will be faced with. It's gonna start booting, and it's not gonna take that long. Don't be scared. Seeing a black screen is not a scary thing. It's just booting and loading everything that needs to be loaded in order for the operating system or the Linux distribution to get into the desktop environment or the live environments where you can either try the operating system before you install it or directly install the thing without worrying about anything else. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful, isn't it? But we're not gonna worry about that just yet. We're gonna install Linux Mint. And just watch how easy is that. It's going to take less than 3 minutes or so. So click on the install thingy and wait for that thing to load. Alright, we're there. So choose your language. For me, I will choose English. Click on next. Now the same thing. Choose your preferences and click on next. Now the multimedia codecs. Basically, it's already explained in here. Multimedia codecs are required to play some video formats and properly render some websites. So why not? Install that thing. Next, installation type. So in here, it's gonna get only just a bit complicated. And listen, if you're gonna dual boot that thing with Windows, I don't really recommend. Why? Because Windows is gonna keep running your Linux distribution bootloader every single time it updates, for example. So that's why make sure you install Linux Mint separately on a separate machine without worrying about dual booting, alright? If you really need to dual boot, I will make a separate video about that in the future, but for now, we'll just erase disk and install Linux Mint, since it's the easiest way to install Linux Mint. So I have that option selected. I'm not going to click on any advanced features. I don't care about that. I'm just a beginner on Linux. I don't want to waste too much time messing around. So that's why I will skip that option and install now. Now the installer asking me if I'm really sure about what I'm doing. Do I need to install Linux? And that's when you have some time to think, because once you click on continue, whatever going to happen is just going to happen, and you cannot just take back everything that you had on that disk. So make sure you back up your files before installing Linux Mint. So continue. New York? Do I live in New York? Well, they're asking me where am I? Mind your own business. I'm somewhere in here or in here. I could be in here or even in here. What if I was in here? Maybe in here? Well, what about here? No? Okay, I live over here. Next, your name. My name is Jason. Choose a password. Seriously, I need a password? Yes, you need a password. If you're not gonna type a password, that thing is not gonna log in. But let's just type a password. Now do the same thing down here. There you go. Now I will just keep it default like that. Everything else should stay default. You don't have to change none of that. Just enter a username that you will remember. Not necessarily Jason, but anything you want. Next, now it's installing. Isn't that simple? How long it was? 2 minutes? 3 minutes? And I'm already installing Linux Mint? Easy. Of course, while you're sitting here waiting for Linux Mint to install, you can go around and see what Linux Mint offers you. There is a lot of stuff like Spotify, Netflix, Celluloid, MPV, VLC, all of those can be installed on Linux Mint. If you're not interested, then skip this part and just sit down and wait for Linux Mint to get installed. I don't really know how long it took, but it's finally installed. One thing though, I don't recommend installing this on a hard drive. That spinning thingy that keeps going like vrrrr. Don't install it on that one. It's just gonna be slow. Just like Windows. It's a hard drive. I mean, like, get an SSD. Those stuff are cheap. Let's focus on the main thing. Installation has finished. You can continue testing Linux Mint now, but until you restart the computer, any changes you make or documents you save will not be preserved. Why? Simply because this is a live environment. So what you have to do is forget about that option and select restart now. Now, if you install that thing on a real machine, on a laptop or desktop, unplug your USB and then click on enter. But if you're installing this on a virtual machine just like me, you don't need to unplug anything. Just click on enter. Alright, Linux Mint is booted. Great news. What that means? That means we did everything the right way. Alright, so you can see that Jason, my name, the name I typed earlier when I was in the setup screen, and then here I need to enter my password. You will do the same, enter your password, and then click on enter. Now the magic gonna happen. And just like that, we're in Linux Mint. You will have that thing talking about Linux Mint and welcome to Linux Mint, blah, 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 blah. We don't need to know none of that. Show this dialog on startup? Hell no. And I can just close this. You can see that there is some stuff in here. The terminal, don't get scared. Remove that thing. You don't need to use the terminal. And look at all of this. Beautiful, isn't it? All of these stuff are pre-installed and you're just ready to go. Places, recent file, preferences, if you want to change anything in the settings. Yeah, you missed the task manager? You don't have that anymore. You have system monitor. And that's where you see what is happening in the background. And here you got your resources, the CPU, CPU2, memory, swap, and the file system, of course. If we click over here, which is similar to the Windows Start menu, and search for software manager, click on that and wait a little bit. Generating cache, 1 moment. Alright, take your time. I hate my Wi-Fi. It's always slow and it always takes hours to just load something really simple. Yeah, it's not a Linux Mint problem. It's my Wi-Fi that is slow. And while it's doing stuff in the background, I'll try to customize my Linux Mint. There is something going on. What is this? What is this? We got display settings. Oh yeah, I want to mess around with those. Yeah, I want it to be 1920 with 1080. Oh yeah, keep changes. Close that thing. Now back to the software manager. Software manager is almost like Windows Store. So you can download apps in Windows Store, right? You can do the same in here. You can already see that there is Discord, there is VLC. I think VLC is pre-installed. Sublime, Dropbox, FileZilla, and a lot of other stuff that you can download, including even some games. We can go to games, for example, download some Linux games, or go to, for example, graphics and download some graphic apps. Doesn't matter. You decide what to install on your machine. And most importantly, you don't need that terminal, because I know the terminal scares a lot of you guys. But this, forget about it. It's not needed, at least for now. Once you learn more about Linux, you can use the terminal. But like to daily drive that thing, you don't need to touch that stupid terminal, okay? You're just a beginner. Take it slow and easy. But before I close that, I would like to download some stuff. I'll go with Obsidian, basically a replacement for Notion. Yeah, install that thing. I like it. Do your job. And also I want to download Krita. Do I want to draw something today? No, I'm bad at drawing. Oh, OBS. Yeah, sure, I want OBS. Install, continue. Let's download some games. Yeah, why not? Oh, there's a lot of games in here, but which one I will choose? I want to download something that doesn't even make sense. Yeah, that one. What is even that game? I never installed it. Well, please show me the images, sir. Please. Oh, yeah. Is that like some type of Tetris, but for Linux? Well, doesn't matter. Let's just install. Let's type the password that's necessary when installing any application. You know how to install Linux Mint. You know how to download apps. What else you need? You can customize your Linux experience by making your own rice. In Windows, we don't have that term, but Linux, there is something called Linux Rising, where you basically make your distribution or your operating system look the way you want it to look. If we go over here, then go to Preferences, then go somewhere in Desktop. Yeah, you can like, for example, add more icons. Why not? I like the icons though. All right, what else we can change? Smaller or larger? Want to make it this big? Make it this big, doesn't matter. There is the intelligence panel, so once you move your window close to that, it hides itself. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Okay, close that. I want to change some colors though. And the wallpaper as well. Can you do that? Yes, you can. Backgrounds. And now we're gonna go with one of those. What about one of those as well? Oh, this looks good. This one looks modern as hell. Of course. What about that one? I gotta think about it. They got a lot of options. Yeah, look at this. Isn't it looking good? Now, one more last thing. Why would you consider Linux Mint? Easy. You don't need a terminal. Looks like Windows, simple to use, modern looking, and most importantly, it's efficient and works fine on anything you install it on. Doesn't matter if it's an old laptop or if it's modern hardware. All of this will not change the fact that it's going to be the smoothest experience you will have with Linux. And yeah, this was today's video. If you enjoyed watching it, please leave a like and subscribe. And let me know in the comments what's your opinion about Linux Mint and if you would consider installing it. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.